Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Keidron here, back with another video for you guys. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing my thoughts, opinions, overall feelings, and everything else on Daredevil Season 3. So, this was quite a good season. I really enjoyed it all. I have nothing bad to say about Season 3 of Daredevil. Every little minute detail was perfect. Um, and before I continue, let me just say that this video um, is going to be containing spoilers. So, by the time this goes up, I would recommend to those of you out there who haven't gotten the chance to watch Season 3 of Daredevil yet to pause this video. If you stumble upon this video, you could pause this video, watch Season 3 of Daredevil on Netflix, and then come back. If you want to hear my thoughts, you could come back and watch this video because I don't want to spoil anybody. So without further ado, let's just get right back into it. So, like I said, but for those of you who want to be spoiled at your own risk, you can go right ahead. But like I said, yeah, I have absolutely nothing bad to say about Daredevil. Everything was perfection. The fighting scenes, the whole plot of the season, the acting in general, the emotions, everything, all the cast and the characters made you feel like you knew them for so long and that you were right there. They made it feel like you were right there beside them, and they made you feel like you knew them for so long, and they really the cast and the characters and like Netflix and Marvel in general with this series, they really know how to like up their game and keep their audience at a standard and always wanting more, and they know how to like hype up their audience in a way, and I thought that to be really great. The fight scenes especially, all like there was this one scene in the hospital where Matt Murdock, or Daredevil, he was in the hospital trying to like because he got injured in a fight trying to protect somebody, and when he went to the hospital, he realized that there were these people after him, and it turned out that okay, well, I know I'm going to be like all over the place with this review, but let's just go with it because I have so many things to say, so I'm just going to be all over the place. Sorry about that. Before I even get further into this, but let's just continue. So when Matt when he was in the hospital, he saw that there were these FBI agents after him because he realized that that Kingpin, or what's his name? No, Wilson Fisk. Kingpin, as he goes by, Kingpin. I don't know why he calls himself that. He wanted to set up a trap for Daredevil and have the whole FBI on his side, and set a trap in motion for Daredevil for him to be like framed for being a vigilante and taking justice into his own hands and whatever. And in the hospital scene, there were these FBI agents coming after Matt, and then he was like fighting them while he was on like. There was this one scene where he jumped on the hospital bed and he kicked one of them, and the whole fight scenes and all the other stuff, and the way how he handled all the FBI agents in that hospital. And even there was this one scene also in the elevator where he was also doing some more fighting, and then oh my gosh, it's so good. It's like, oh my god, I have Daredevil is so good. Like, oh, you need to go and watch Daredevil. It's so good. And like everybody has been talking about season 3. It's like, for me, it's like the best season of Daredevil yet. It's so good. What else we see in this season? We see that there is this imposter, this new Daredevil, or this imposter who trying to like um who is trying to, no, give me a second here, let me try to think. He was trying to like also frame Daredevil in a way like the same way Wilson Fisk was trying to do, but he is trying to like put on a persona as and try to go around New York City trying to portray his image of what he believes Daredevil to be, and that is that this person, he believes that Daredevil supposed to be, you know, this whole evil person, when Daredevil is when in fact and in actuality Daredevil is an anti-hero, you know. Even though he takes justice into his own hands, Daredevil, not once, he never kills people. He never does that. He may badly wound them or badly injure them, but that's because they are bad. They are the bad guys. They are the villains. They are in general. That is what he really supposed to do. Like arrest bad guys and take things into his own hands and protect the good citizens of New York City or Los Angeles or where, I can't remember what city it's from. I believe it's New York. But yeah, that's what he's supposed to do. And this imposter was trying to go around, trying to frame him for all the bad things that he thought he did and whatever. And they at one point in this whole season, there was this big like plot about politics and political intrigue and stuff that's going on, like things that were happening in the real world. The way how the actors and all these small little minute characters were portraying, especially in the FBI and many in like the presidential campaign and thing, and in the FBI offices and all over the place and whatever. There was this big chunk of the season where it was just solid political intrigue, and the way how they presented it, it made you feel like, wow, this is what like really happening in today's world. These are the issues that are being brought to light in the world today, and I found that to be really intriguing. I never really liked political and politics in general all that much, but the way how Daredevil did it's kind of like it sparked like a thought-provoking question in my mind. I was like, this is, and while I watched it, I was like, this is what kind of like political intrigue is about. It's all these politics and elections and running for Congress and the presidential parties and whatever, and I found that to be really intriguing. And then we get to a point of the season where I believe it's the first episode where we saw that we got a flashback as to where Matt Murdock, where he grew up after his parents died. Now we realized that he grew up in a church and he was raised by some nuns. And they were like his foster parents after his parents died, and they took care of him. They took him in from ever since he was small, and after his parents died, I believe he was like 10 or 12 when his parents died, and the nuns in this church or this foster home, they took him in and they cared for him, and when he was old enough, he ventured out on his own. And there was this one scene, I believe, once again, also in the first episode, when Daredevil got injured and he ended up in the church or the foster home. He started to wonder like what really would be his calling in life. He started to wonder like and search for like his true calling and his true purpose in life. And with Matt Murdock, with his main plot and his storyline, yes, we know that he takes down bad guys whenever they want to cause trouble. But in season 3, we start to see him, like try to wonder and figure out if what he did in the past, if he should really continue doing it, and like he's trying to find a new purpose in life, and it's like he's trying to like think of him as like the bottom of a ladder, and like he's trying many attempts to climb that ladder and find a new purpose in life. Think of it that way. And he's trying to like strive for something better, but yet something in the back of his but yet again something in the back of his mind is like always calling him back to that calling or that purpose of something is always sparking in his mind that always makes him think that if he should give up the role of Daredevil and be something greater. And he starts to really question himself that if the city did not have Daredevil, it would just run amok and it would just be chaos and craziness. So he had to choose between like his own faith, like what he believes in and what he was striving for now and stuff, and while also judging the question about whether he should still be Daredevil or not. And the way how that actor Charlie Cox in that's his real name in real life, Charlie Cox, the way how he portrayed that and the way how he told his like told the person in the church or the foster home, he was striving for something better and trying to not look in the past too much because he don't want to be consumed with all that darkness and all that energy. So the way how he portrayed that, it was really great acting. All the side characters as well. It had they did some really great acting in the end. I found it to be so good. 5 out of 5 stars. I give this season 5 out of 5 stars. It's so good. You have to go and watch Daredevil. Then we get a certain point in the season where we realize that the people or the nuns in the church or the orphanage, the foster home, we realize that one nun in particular, the one who was taking care of Matt whenever he got injured, that's where he would go, that church or that foster home. We realized that person who was taking care of him is his actual birth mother. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many plot twists and so many actions things and so many suspense just happening all over the place. I was like shocked. I was like, how could that be his real birth mother? And then we found out that his father, who was he was a boxer, we found out that both he and she were when she was like still a nun, like trying to grow up in the Catholic faith and whatever, she saw this man at a boxing match, who would eventually turn out to be Matt's or Daredevil's father. She saw him at a boxing match when she was like a couple years young, and she saw something in him, like some love interest, some spark, that, and like the way how he would fight that particular match, and she would help him out in the boxing ring and whatever. We got that little flashback, and then we realized that the two of them, when the boxing match was over, Matt's father, he started to have some kind of love interest for Hannah, some kind of affectionate feelings for her. And then we found out that like 9 months later she was pregnant and she gave birth to Matt and whatever. And then the way how Matt found that out, that the nun was his actual birth mother, the way how he portrayed that acting again. I know in this video I've said time and time again the acting was flawless, and yes, I keep repeating myself on that, but I don't care. The acting was actually flawless. And yes, when Matt found out that the nun was his mother, he was so upset. And there was also the scene where he was at a bar meeting Foggy, that's his partner, and his partner who he ran a business with, and he was telling Foggy that he recently found out who his real birth mother was. And then we got the scene where his father was inside his head telling him that how he messed up. His father knew he messed up with whatever, that he's sorry he didn't tell him when he was alive, and he's sorry it had to be this way and stuff. And the way how that scene was portrayed, seeing we actually got to see like the graphics. It had Daredevil's father standing up in a locker room talking to him, and we as viewers, we actually got to see his father in skin and flesh, even though he wasn't there. That was just Daredevil conscience talking to him, and that was really really good. And the way how after he found out and that the nun was his real actual birth mother, and his father told him he's sorry, Daredevil just slammed the locker, and he tell his father he told his father, I guess it's something about, I guess it's the sins of the father, and I guess I guess I have to pay for your mistakes now. And then his father just keep telling him sorry or whatever, he's sorry it had to be this way. And then there was this one point where Kingpin, or Wilson Fisk, the villain, the main villain of this season, he keeps getting inside his head and wants him to bring the whole alter ego of Daredevil out. When really and truly we realize that at some point in the season, Matt doesn't think he won that life. But there was this one scene in particular where I think he went back at the hospital. I'm not sure, I can't remember. And where Wilson Fisk was like getting inside his head, and Wilson Fisk really had the FBI on his side, and he was really like a lot of betrayal and a lot of like scheming and a lot of just craziness all over the place. Wilson Fisk was in Matt's head again, and he was just taunting him and kind of like torturing his mind of wanting Matt to bring Daredevil back out. And he was like a little evil pet or something. He was, Wilson Fisk was very evil. And I'm sorry, I'm just rambling all over the place with this review. I'm sorry. What else? Oh my gosh. Oh, and then after a couple of times when Wilson Fisk was inside Daredevil's head, when Daredevil couldn't take it no more, he realized that Matt or Daredevil realized that everything around him starting to crumble, and that the FBI coming after him and whatever, and he starting to realize that he should not trust anybody and just go with his instincts in order to take Wilson Fisk down, because the longer he was wrong, the more serious things would have gotten, and the more the FBI would have gotten involved and whatever, and that would have caused a whole set of turmoil. And then we got this scene where we have this FBI agent who is like this American Indian man. I believe he's Amerindian. We see him in the FBI. At one point he always thought that the FBI was on the right side of things, and that Wilson Fisk was the one that really needed protection. But really and truly, as the season progressed, we started to see that Wilson Fisk doesn't care about nobody. He doesn't care about the FBI. He was just using them as a decoy or as a plot or as a puppet in his plan to get at Matt friends and Matt himself. And he wants Matt to bring the devil out and bring out the inner Daredevil, bring the devil out in him. And Wilson Fisk wanted Matt to come after him. And the way how he did it with this whole FBI thing, I was like, oh my, and this whole politics and this election and so many things just rambling and just going crazy all over the place. And then we find out that the Wilson Fisk, he also had a right hand man who was doing all of his like scheming, and who was trying to go Daredevil and put on the Daredevil persona and try to be him and try to frame Daredevil for all his taking justice into his own hands. And we found out that this person His name is Dex. He go by some point Dexter or something like that, but he goes by the nickname Dex. And we realized that at one point in the season, when Wilson Fisk was still around, he when he was using Dex as a part of his plan to take down Matt, we realized that Dex is really he is really a psycho. He's really a psychotic person. You know, he was always angry as a child, and he grew up angry, and then he killed his real parents, and then this lady, she adopted him and she took him in and whatever. And Dex, he was really a psycho person, a psycho child. And Wilson, when we got this flashback where Wilson was able to revisit Dex as a child, and we realized that Wilson wanted to use Dex and his mad abilities as a plot to take down Matthew Murdoch, or Matt Murdoch, and his friends from within. And Wilson Fisk knew that in the end, when everything was crumbling around Daredevil, Wilson Fisk knew that in the end he would bring the devil out and bring out the alter ego of Daredevil and come for him after, and that's what Wilson Fisk wanted. And there was this big fight scene between Dex, Daredevil, and Wilson Fisk, or Kingpin as he liked to call himself. There was this big fight scene, and then Wilson Fisk's wife got involved and whatever, and like I think that was like coming down towards the end of the season, and like so many things happened, like all the graphics and everything was so good, and we realized that knowing that Daredevil don't kill people, he badly injured Wilson Fisk, and Wilson Fisk was able to like be sent back to jail, and be sent back to jail but he went to a specific jail cell where he could never like hurt anybody again, and yeah, that was the end of Wilson Fisk, and also the end of Poindexter, also the end of Dex, because we realized that the way after the fight between Matt and Dex, Dex was really badly injured, and then we get this scene where like everything comes back to normal. You know, there was this point at a time where Karen, who is the leading lady in the Nelson and Murdoch attorney's business, she and Foggy had some kind of falling out because they realized that Matt kind of set them up, and Matt told them that they should go somewhere safe because Matt realized that the more Wilson Fisk is out, the more trouble he's going to cause, and Matt told Karen and Foggy to go somewhere safe because he don't want them to be hurt. And there was this kind of big turmoil between all three of them, and by the end of the season we get to see all three of them reconnect and come to terms with their differences and forgive each other, hold hands and whatever. And Paige decided all three of them, they decided to go back into the attorney's business, into the attorneys at law, the business firm that they always owned since season 1, and everybody reconciled their own differences, and it was a really great wrap up to this season. But towards the end credits, we realized that somehow Poindexter, when I initially thought Poindexter, I initially thought he was dead, but we realized toward the end of the season that we got this shot or this scene where some doctors were doing an operation on him, and he was doing a surgery and whatever, and like the camera zoomed up, and for some weird reason he opens his eye. Dex opens his eye during the operation, and we realize that his eyes, Dex's eyes, have this kind of weird color in them, and I think, yeah, he looked very crazy, and I think that was the end of the season, and the credits start back to roll. But before that, I also forgot to mention that Daredevil, after he was able to get Wilson Fisk arrested and sent back to prison again, he was on top of the one of the buildings in New York City, and he started to wonder. He was in his normal mask, his normal, not the normal Daredevil costume, but he was just in a normal black mask with black clothes in general, and it seems like he doesn't want to have to wear the suit again. So towards the end of that episode, Matt was just on top of a building, and he was just in his normal black mask with his normal black clothes, and like in his mind, I'm sure in his mind what was going on. um he started to realize that this is his calling, and this is what he was really supposed to do: be Daredevil and protect everybody that needs protection from all the bad guys in the city and all the villains. So, and I think that was also another scene before that episode ended and before this whole season ended off. So, and yeah, I guess that was it for this season. So, overall, I really enjoyed Daredevil. Every single little, like I said before, every single little minute detail about it was perfect. I know this review was kind of long, but I had a lot I wanted to flesh out and a lot I wanted to get through in detail. Um, so if by the time this goes up, and if you're still watching it to this point, thank you. So that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know what your thoughts are, your overall opinions and feelings are on Daredevil Season 3 down in the comment section below. And that is all I have for you guys today. Make sure, tell me what your favorite part of this season was. Tell me everything in general about your thoughts on the season. And that is all I have. Make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.